The wind didn't just blow across the ancient steppe, it screamed. Snow swallowed the horizon, and the temperature plunged to nearly -40 degrees Fahrenheit. In conditions like these, a modern person without gear might survive only a few hours. Yet tens of thousands of years ago, entire families lived through winters that lasted half the year. Children were raised, communities grew, and breathtaking art was created in a world locked in ice. No electricity. No permanent houses. No modern insulation. So the real question isn't how they survived, it's how they managed to thrive. Most people imagine early humans crouched inside dark caves, clinging to small fires and hoping to outlast the cold. But that picture misses a far more impressive truth. Archaeological discoveries show that our ancestors were not helpless against winter. They were skilled problem solvers who engineered shelters capable of turning deadly landscapes into livable homes. Instead of fighting nature, they studied it, understood it, and bent it to their advantage. Everything began with a powerful realization. If the environment is trying to kill you, make it protect you instead. Across the northern regions of Eurasia, early humans pushed into territories many would consider uninhabitable. Evidence suggests they didn't wander blindly into these frozen lands, they arrived prepared. One of their smartest strategies was going underground. By digging deep into the earth, prehistoric builders discovered a natural source of insulation. Just several feet below the surface, temperatures remained far more stable than the air above. While blizzards raged overhead, the soil helped trap warmth and block brutal winds. These semi-subterranean homes weren't random pits. They were carefully shaped spaces designed to conserve heat and provide security. But digging was only the first step. The true genius appeared in how these shelters were layered. Imagine walls built like a thermal sandwich. The inner lining often used animal hides, positioned so that the fur faced inward. This trapped pockets of warm air close to the body, a simple but incredibly effective form of insulation. Outside that came dried grasses and moss, materials that added another barrier against the cold while helping control moisture. The outermost layer acted as a shield against icy winds while still allowing the structure to breathe, preventing dangerous frost buildup inside. It was engineering thousands of years ahead of its time. Some of the most astonishing prehistoric homes were constructed using the remains of massive Ice Age animals. Where forests were scarce and wood was hard to find, early humans turned to what the land offered. Large bones created sturdy frames, forming rounded shapes that helped deflect harsh winds. The curved design wasn't just practical, it minimized exposed surfaces, allowing the shelter to retain more heat. These homes were surprisingly spacious, often built to support extended families living together through the coldest months. Builders shaped shallow foundations and piled earth around the edges to create protective barriers against the wind. Every detail served a purpose. Covering these frameworks required another leap in innovation. Thick outer hides formed the main protective skin of the structure, stitched together with remarkable precision. Inside, softer pelts created additional warmth, transforming the interior into a far more comfortable environment than the frozen world outside. Yet even the best shelter would fail without heat. Fire became the beating heart of winter survival, but managing it inside an enclosed space demanded careful planning. Many shelters appear to have used central hearths for steady warmth, while smaller fires supported cooking or tool-making. This arrangement helped distribute heat evenly instead of letting it escape through a single point. Fuel posed another challenge. In treeless regions, gathering firewood wasn't always possible. So prehistoric communities experimented. Dried grasses, animal waste, and even dense organic materials could burn long enough to provide reliable heat. Nothing was wasted, everything had value. Equally important was airflow. Without proper ventilation, smoke and moisture could quickly turn a shelter into a deadly trap. Early builders solved this by designing openings that encouraged natural air circulation. Cooler air entered low while warmer air, along with excess moisture, escaped higher up. This quiet movement kept the interior breathable without draining precious warmth. These weren't crude huts. They were carefully engineered environments. Inside, life followed thoughtful organization. Sleeping areas clustered near the warmest zones, protecting the youngest and oldest members of the group from extreme cold. Workspaces sat where light and heat made delicate tasks easier. Even during the harshest winters, daily life continued. Tools were crafted, clothing repaired, meals prepared. Food storage showed another level of foresight. Frozen ground acted like a natural freezer, preserving meat for months. Some groups created underground chambers connected to their homes so supplies remained accessible even during severe storms. Planning ahead wasn't optional, It was the difference between survival and disaster. What's even more impressive is the timing behind these constructions. Building such shelters likely required weeks of cooperation, meaning preparation had to begin long before the first snowfall. Late summer and early autumn became seasons of intense effort, gathering materials, reinforcing structures, and ensuring everything was ready before the world turned white. And the work didn't stop once winter arrived. Shelters demanded constant care. Tiers were patched, insulation refreshed, and weak points strengthened. This wasn't desperate improvisation, it was proactive maintenance, proof of a deep understanding of their environment. But survival is not just physical. Long months inside enclosed spaces can strain the human mind. Early communities seem to recognize this. Evidence suggests that winter was also a season for creativity. Small sculptures were shaped, objects decorated, and artistic expression flourished. Even surrounded by ice, the human urge to create never froze. When spring finally approached, another task awaited. Many groups carefully dismantled parts of their shelters, saving valuable materials for the next migration. Frameworks might remain hidden or protected, ready to be used again. Efficiency mattered. Gathering resources from scratch each year would have been far too costly. Experiments recreating these ancient shelters reveal something remarkable. Interiors could remain dramatically warmer than the outside air with relatively modest fires. Even by modern standards, that level of thermal performance is impressive. The ability to endure such winters changed the course of human history. It allowed populations to spread into vast northern territories rich with new resources. Expansion encouraged innovation, and innovation fueled cultural growth. Techniques developed for shelter building influenced other technologies too. Layered materials improved clothing. Insulation concepts enhanced food preservation. The mindset required to construct these homes, observe, adapt, engineer, helped spark a broader wave of technological progress. Yet knowledge like this had to be taught with precision. Errors could cost lives. Skills were likely passed down through careful demonstration and shared experience, strengthening bonds between generations and ensuring hard-earned wisdom was never lost. Different environments inspired different designs. Windy plains demanded low, aerodynamic structures. Mountain regions required protection from heavy snow. Areas near forests used natural barriers as part of their defense. Everywhere humans went, they adjusted, not by abandoning the cold but by learning how to live within it. Ironically, as the climate warmed and landscapes changed, many of these advanced survival techniques faded away. When extreme shelters were no longer essential, the knowledge slowly disappeared, surviving only in a few regions where winter still ruled with authority. Today, researchers studying these ancient methods continue to uncover insights about efficient cold weather construction. Some modern survival training even echoes principles first discovered thousands of years ago, proof that innovation doesn't always belong to the future. Sometimes, it comes from the deep past. The story of Ice Age winter survival is ultimately a story about human resilience. Faced with conditions that should have driven them away, our ancestors chose a different path. They adapted. They experimented. They cooperated. When you picture early humans now, don't imagine fragile figures hiding from the cold. Picture skilled builders, planners, and engineers, people who understood their world well enough to transform it into a place they could call home. And the next time you step into a heated room while snow falls outside, remember this. The basic ideas that keep you warm, insulation, airflow, layered protection, were discovered long ago by families armed with little more than determination, intelligence, and the courage to face winter head-on.